Hello, Charles there. Today I'm going to be showing you how to refoam a woofer, subwoofer, speaker, whatever, on an old speaker. A little backstory here. I'd bought back in the 90s, nice stereo system, Kenwood. Got me some Cerwin Vega Attack series speakers, the AT-12s, with a 12-inch subwoofer. Good speaker, great speaker back in the day, in fact. Still a good speaker today. But moved out of the country, wasn't going to take it with me, sold it to my sister. She enjoyed it for years. Flash forward to a few months ago, and my sister asked me, she said, hey, you know, we're updating some stuff in the house, getting rid of some stuff. Do you want your old stereo and speakers back? And I'm like, yeah. So get everything home, everything still looks good, hook everything up, you know, and go to play something, and this is what I hear. I thought, they sound horrible. Like, what's wrong? And I got to take the covers off, and there's all this orange stuff falling out of the bottom. And I see my poor Cerwin Vega speaker, and I'm like, oh my God! And this is what's happened. There's no more support at all, and I thought, God, my poor Cerwin Vega speakers are ruined, like forever. And all this is just some of the remnants that was left. And like, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like horrible, like rattling in the voice coil. So no wonder it sounds bad. So searched the internet, found out you can buy these, and the pair perfectly for the Cerwin Vega 12-inch are like $26.95 delivered. Comes with the glue, the foam, what you need. So watched a couple videos and thought, yeah, I can do this. I can fix these. So I'm going to show you that today, even though there's great videos out there. Show you a little abbreviated doing it, and then hopefully see what the speakers sound like afterwards, after it dries and everything. So let's get started. Alright, first of all, I found the speaker rebuild kit on Amazon, but also there's a company called, let me make sure you can get that there, Simply Speakers. So it comes with the easy to use instructions, receipt, the special glue, speaker repair adhesive, the business card. I'll go ahead and hold that up. And then there's the two pieces. Exact Cerwin Vega covers and everything. Then they also have instructional videos online. But step-by-step instructions there. We'll follow those and see how it works out. And I'll be doing two speakers, but I'm just going to be showing you the one. Both be the same. Let's get started. Alright, some tools. I've got some rubbing alcohol, some paper towels. I've got a Sharpie just to mark stuff. 5/32 Allen key, which I use to take the screws off the speaker. If you've got different speakers, it'll be fastened on a different way. Got a couple flat screwdrivers, a little short stubby one. This will help scrape some of the stuff. And some of the disposable, like snap-off style utility knives. And then that way you can make it longer or shorter to get just exactly the right amount. So that should be it. And then of course the kit itself with the foam and the adhesive. Okay, first thing, lay your speaker down flat. And careful moving around the speakers. This one weighs 55 pounds. Pry off your cover, the grill, whatever you want to call it. Most of them have like the little push fastener things. And set that to the side. And then you can see, this is how I found the speakers. They've just got this foam stuff that just crumbles, it deteriorates after a while. And this was all down in the corners, and there's still some, I don't know if you can see it here, still kind of halfway attached. So that's what we have to replace. So the next step would be getting this out of the cabinet. I've got a 5/32 Allen key. And basically take off these. We have 8 screws here. Just the screws that mount to the cabinet. Go ahead and do that. Now this should just pull right out, and it does. Kind of felt like it's a little bit stuck from being in there for 30 years. Make sure all the screws are out, and then there'll be some wires hooked here on the back. Not really marked in here, so I'll mark the black side, and these should just pull. Let's see, they should. Yeah, pull right off. The black one's being a little bit more stubborn. There we go. There you've got your speaker. So we'll set this, oh, much lighter without that. Set that to the side. Now we've got our speaker here we can work on. Alright, step 1 was remove it from the cabinet, which we did. Step 2 is remove large pieces, well, just pulling them off, which you saw some of that, but most of these have pretty much fallen away over the years. Now, it also says to remove this gasket, and this, I'm pleasantly surprised, that's pretty easy to take off. There again, the age of the speakers on the video they show online, they show like having the full-on like take a utility knife and like dig in there and scrape and all that and pry it off, and so that came off pretty easily. So hopefully this gasket material will come off easily as well later. So we are going to get in here with a utility knife and scrape this. Now this you don't have to get perfectly clean, but you want it a nice surface for the new gasket to glue onto. Careful not to damage your speaker cone. Let me get some close-up video of this also. And then it says to use some alcohol, so we might put some alcohol in there to kind of soften that up. Alright, try to get a close-up of the gasket material stuff here. Just scrape that off. And some of it's a little bit more stubborn than others. I haven't even used the alcohol yet, but I might grab the stubby screwdriver to show you that. Also, I'm putting the rubbing alcohol on here. It's coming off nicely. You oozing around to the back. Alright. I'm going to try it up on here. The instructions say you can use lacquer thinner as well, but it'd be a bit more smelly, and it probably would take it off this metal a bit better. But you'd want to be outside when you're doing it. As far as the cone, the rubbing alcohol seems to be working well on that. Okay, the next step in the instructions is to check the fit. So this one's pretty straightforward. Evidently on some speakers the foam may be a little bit wider and you have to trim around. But this one does cover up the mounting holes, but that'll be no problem. The screws will go right through the foam when it's time to mount it up. Alright, step 5. Apply some glue on here and stick it on there. That's what we're going to do. This is special speaker repair adhesive. Oh, it says a little goes a long way, so we're gonna bead all the way around. Now the instructions say this dries clear. Oh, and it smells strong. Put the cap back on. Set that aside. And use our finger to smear it. On this speaker cone there's a little, I don't know, like a little ridge. So it'll be a good guide for centering up this. I smeared it too thin over here. That feels better. Get our fingers clean. Oh, some sticky stuff. Duh, it is glue. Now, knowing that it's so sticky, I'm going to try to center this perfectly. Looks pretty good. Just gently squeezing it, getting it in contact with the glue. This glue does feel really nice. It's nice and tacky already. What I'm doing now, I kind of mashed it down gently to start with to make sure everything was centered up, and it does look pretty centered. So now I'm using my finger underneath to push the cone up and push the foam down onto the cone from above. Oh, already starting to look better. Just to see how that's going to look. Oh, it's going to be nice. Alright, that was step 5, and then step 6 is to work it around for a few minutes. The glue fully sets in an hour, but I guess you need to kind of keep mashing on it to make sure it's not going to pull up at any spots. But from feeling how tacky the glue is, it feels like it's going to hold nicely. Alright, step 7, it says to push down and exercise the cone. The reason you're doing this is there's like a sweet spot where it's right in the center and it doesn't scrape on the voice coil. I know in some speakers you have to remove the dust cone in the middle and put down shims, but this speaker you don't have to, and with the quicker drying glue it's not as critical. But if you have the foam a little bit off center, like I'm pushing on intentionally here, you can hear that scraping. Hopefully you guys can hear that. But you want to be able to feel what it's like, because as you're gluing and mashing down, if you get off center a little bit and you feel that scraping, you have to make sure it's centered back on there. Alright, step 8 is to glue the outside edge of the foam to the actual speaker frame, I guess you'd call it. And then while we're doing this, we're going to be careful and make sure everything stays centered. We're going to be moving it up and down to feel exactly where it needs to be while the glue is drying. So we'll work this around. Alright, back to the beginning.
doing now is wiggling it around so that it smears the glue evenly. Now when you're mashing this down, you're supposed to exercise the comb. It says moving it up and down from the top and the bottom to make sure this is properly centered. So I'll mash this down and then wiggle it every once in a while. And if it was off center, you would hear a scraping sound. So I'm pretty confident this is where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and try to evenly mash everything down. And just like on the inside of the speaker cone, we have to work this glue for a few minutes, or work mashing it down for a few minutes while the glue initially sets, and then it takes an hour to fully cure. All in all, that feels good. And it also says in the instructions that as it dries, this might wrinkle around the edges, but it doesn't really matter that much because your next step is going to be gluing down this gasket thing, so that's going to hold everything perfectly. So just see how that feels with that there. It feels nice. So we'll keep working this, and then we'll do the next step. Okay, step number 9 is going to be applying a bead of adhesive around the top outside edge and then putting the gasket in place. And I've got the screws here to help line everything up to make sure it glues in place. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. That looks nice. Now we'll flip this over, take these screws out that we used to line everything up. The instructions say flip it over, let the weight of the speaker hold everything down. We'll come back and check that later. Alright, so here's our finished speaker. It's been sitting for an hour after we put the gasket on there. And now the last step is just to put it back in the speaker cabinet. So that's what we're going to do. Here we go. Got our speaker cabinet. Got where we Marked our wire locations. Make sure we put the black on the black side and the red on the red. And put this back in there. If you want to look nice, make sure the logo's properly up. And then we'll screw these screws in and put our cover back on, and we'll be ready to go. There we are. There you go.
Okay, project's finished. Really happy with the results. Here's the speaker. Looks good. There's a little bit of like shiny from the excess adhesive, but for the most part it's nice, and sound is back and it gets louder. So for a fraction of the cost, literally $26, $27, something like that, both speakers fixed, both speakers like new. They also make the foam surrounds for smaller speaker size, but they were fine. It was just the woofer that needed the extra foam around the edge. And any hind thoughts? The adhesive, it says use sparingly, and do use it sparingly. There's enough in the tube, way more than enough to finish the project. So I was a little bit concerned about maybe it wasn't going to glue enough, so I used a little bit extra, and it nothing bad, but cosmetically just a little bit extra. So, and I could tell in hindsight I could have used a lot less of the adhesive and it still would have worked. But anyway, for the money, you can't beat it, and you get the pride of saying you fixed your own speakers, and instead of throwing something away, fix it and reuse it. Anyway, I'm Charles. Thanks for watching.